I feel like there's two groups of people in your life. People that know you as a warrior, and then there's Ida the Kaiser employee. Maybe some know you now as both. So for my first question, can you tell me about Ida the Kaiser employee?
As a Kaiser employee, I am dedicated to patient care. The role that I do at work is patients will call in and I assess their safety. So I have to make sure that all my clinical skills are intact because some of these calls could result in life or death. So I want to make sure that the patients are getting the care that they need in the moment, and I help with linking them to any immediate service that's available.
And Ida the warrior? What attracted you to be an activist? What are some of the movements you support other than the Kaiser strikers? What's it like being a woman in the movement, or a mom even?
As a warrior, I'm a fighter of human rights and protect those without a voice or those that are in need. What attracted me to be an activist is that I saw vulnerable people being targeted and being taken advantage of, and that made me feel really mad. Some of the things that I witnessed are, people being talked down to, um, people being made fun of just because of the way they looked, low income, or their inability to speak English. So I felt it was in me, I felt like I needed to be able to help either empower them to speak up or even speak up for them. Some of the movements that I support are protecting street vendors and the indigenous communities. Again, a lot of street vendors, they don't know their rights, or the indigenous communities don't know their rights. And I feel that they are the most vulnerable because um, they feel they can't get help, especially if they're undocumented, and they're afraid of, being beat up or being evicted from their homes or even deported. So they are afraid to speak up, and there has to be someone that can help them out. Again, like I mentioned, either empowering them or just speaking up for them. I'm also a huge supporter of Buried into the Blue, which is an organization that was created to shed light on the displacement of the three communities of Palo Verde, La Loma, and Bishop by the Dodger Corporation and the city of Los Angeles. In all of these movements that I mentioned, women are important. Women have a voice. Women have the fight. It's in our ancestors. A lot of these women had to stand up. Not only did they take care of what needed to be taken care of at home, right? Feeding the babies, feeding the husbands, taking care of the home, but they also had to help in any revolutionary wars that they were in. So I take pride of being a mother, as well as having an empathetic side and a protective mindset. So it's all important, especially being female and mujer in this movement. It's important that we do have our voice and we do stand up for our rights. That way we continue to take care of each other.
What's life been like while on strike?
Well, life has been really hard due to the strike. We face stressors, right, every day in our daily lives, but now just knowing that financially I'm not bringing in any income, it worries me on a daily basis. Um, I need to make sure that, we're being fed, we don't lose our homes. All of our basic necessities are met. Luckily, I know how to uh, I know how to work the system, meaning I know how to whatever resources that I have available that can help with some of the financial issues that I'm facing. I can go ahead and apply for those, and I have been able to apply for them. There's a lot of resources such as foods and clothing and things like that, as well as utilities. that programs that can help pay for that. So luckily, I've been able to find some of those things. And then it makes me sad because I'm pretty sure some of the other members, right, that are on strike may not even know of such resources that are out there. So again, it's sharing whatever knowledge that I have with others on the line. On the picket line, we walk hours on end. We're just trying to make sure that we do get people attention. Uh, we get people's attention so that they're aware of the need for better mental health and for them to know, why we're out there. We're behavioral health workers, and the good thing about all of this is that we have found comfort in one another, which has made us unite in a much more stronger form. So for that, I am grateful, and I am proud of my colleagues that walk beside me on the picket line.
Everyone now knows about the incident between you and Kaiser Security. Can you walk me through what happened? What were you going through? How did it make you feel? Was there a police report? Has there been any disciplinary action towards Demis Fleming?
It seemed that Kaiser was starting to use intimidation tactics. They had the securities. It looked like they were counting us. They had their little notepads out, writing things down. I don't know if they were trying to find any infractions. All of us that are on strike, we're all mental health providers. We're therapists, we're psychologists, we're psychiatric nurses. So we're rule followers, let me tell you. And the reason for that is in our jobs, it's life or death, right? So we always want to make sure that we're patient centered. Whenever any patient is trying to walk into the building, we make sure that we don't block their entrance. We stop our line to have patients go through. So it was very demeaning what I experienced. We had it was myself and two other colleagues, two other members, right? We were going to talk to the security, and we were going to speak, just kind of let them know about our rights, because we do have rights as strikers. And so, one of our female members, was asking the security if they were counting us. They said no. We said, okay. Basically, we told them about our rights. One other person was on the side who was Damas, he's the actual manager of the security, would chime in here and there, right? And the other security who was the supervisor basically, kept repeating himself, and then finally the manager, Damas, ended up saying something like, well, I'm his manager. And so then one of the female members said, okay, then we should be speaking with you about our rights. And then she said, well, what's your name and badge number? Because we couldn't see his badge. Kaiser policy is that you're supposed to display your badge as a worker of Kaiser at all times on premises. And clearly we were on Kaiser premise because we were right by the front door. So he had his badge tucked in. We couldn't see his name. After numerous times, he kept declining to show his badge, as well as declined wanting to state his name or give us any information. So I took out my phone, right, to record, take a picture of him, since he was not providing us with his information. As soon as I took my phone out, he stepped up to me, telling me that I needed permission to videotape him. I know my rights, so I told him no, we can record, and I'm going to keep recording. He continued to put his hand in my face. At some point, I thought, what is he trying to do? Is he trying to punch me? Or was he trying to knock my phone down? So I backed up. but he still came forward at me. At some point, he ended up touching me. And then he snatched my phone away from my hand. And so my phone has important information, has my debit card, has my driver's license. So it's pretty much you're snatching my purse, is the way it was. So my I immediately went to grab my phone from his hand because it's, the same thing, right? Somebody snatches your purse, you're going to try to snatch it back. I mean, it kind of depends, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. Uh, goes to show that, like I mentioned earlier, right? I'm a fighter, so I'm going to try to get my belongings back. And we kind of struggled about it, and he noticed I was not letting go, and he finally dropped my phone. He just let my phone go instead of handing it to me, and then he proceeded to walk away. I told him what he did was wrong. Initially, I didn't know what had happened. Right? It went so fast. I sure wasn't expecting my phone to be snatched from my hand, knowing that I have rights. And after everything set in, I was in shock. I mean, I was shaking. Your adrenaline's pumped, right? So I was shaking. I was trying to calm down. As mental health workers, what would we tell our patients, right? During that time, we tell them to take, deep breaths, try to calm down, and that's exactly what I was doing. Luckily, again, I'm surrounded by therapists and mental health professionals, so a lot of them were able to help calm me down. And so after all that set in, right after the initial shock set in, I felt angry because a man decided to assault me, decided to take my belongings, and ultimately damage my phone. So I was really angry at that. And mostly because, I mean, the one thing is your belongings, right? But you feel violated. You feel violated in the moment that somebody would actually try to intimidate you. I mean, this man was twice, I would, say twice my height, my twice my size, and so it was infuriating. But again, I did have the support of my fellow colleagues and fellow members that were beside me, and that really helped out during that moment. Yes, a police report was filed, and wow, yeah, that was also interesting too. To have to go through with that's a whole situation in itself. But yes, after waiting 9.5 hours at the Lancaster Sheriff Station, I was able to file a police report. I don't know if there has been any disciplinary actions towards him. That I'm not sure.
What does justice look like to you?
What I feel should happen is there should be disciplinary actions on him. I know that if I went and put my hands on someone or took something away or damaged one of our patients' properties, I would be fired. So perhaps that's something that needs to happen to him. He needs to be held accountable for what he did, because not only am I a striker, a union member, but I'm also a Kaiser patient myself. So he needs to remember that.
What is the goal of the strikers? What does justice look like to them?
Our goals as strikers are obviously to come up with an equitable contract, in the sense of course, providing better patient care. We want new employees that were hired 2015 and on to have a pension. They don't have pensions, and we're all the same, right? I don't understand why Kaiser did away with the pensions. And of course, a lot of return therapists, you know, we see patients back to back to back to back to back, and I'm talking about when one patient is done, the other one comes in, they're done, the other one comes in, they're done, the other one comes in. Many times, return therapists, they don't have time to go to the bathroom. They don't have time to complete notes. It's really hard to do chart reviews, meaning that we have to review whoever's coming in, we have to review their charts. So it's important that all of those steps are done. Many times we have to fill out mandatory reports. We have to call Child Protective Services, Adult Protective Services. There's a lot of things that come into play when we do provide therapy or we're providing patient care. And all of those things, it seems like Kaiser is trying to get away with giving us time to complete all the important necessities, right, for patient care. They're trying to schedule during some of the patient time, what we call patient management time, is time that's dedicated where we don't have any patients that are scheduled in our schedule, and that's the time when we're supposed to take care of all of those essential duties. But what they want to do is they want to schedule patients into those slots, so it makes it hard for us to complete anything that needs to be done. Most of the time, therapists are working through their lunch to complete all of those things. And when do we get to eat? When do we get time to go to the bathroom? When do we get time to even go get a cup of coffee? So it's hard. There's a lot of therapist burnout. Not only do we uh, not only do we listen to what's going on with the patient, all of their traumas, we're listening to all of it, and we also have to decompress at times. Some sessions are harder than others, and we don't have time to do any of that. So it's a lot of burnout in our field, and it seems like Kaiser just kind of seems like Kaiser just wants to work us to the core. All we're asking is that Southern California is given the exact contract as our Northern California counterparts in behavioral health obtained 2 years ago. That's what we're looking. We're all uniform. I don't know why they're different, or Kaiser is trying to split us. But we all do the same work, whether Northern California, Southern California. So we just want an equitable contract. That's really what we're seeking. And we'd like to go back to work with an equitable contract.
Post-COVID era, and now 3 Donald Trump elections later, how important do you think mental health is these days? And how important is it that mental health workers get back to work as soon as possible? With this whole United Healthcare shooter, providers denying coverage, not even having service providers, CEOs getting shot, I think we need mental health care more than ever.
We want to go back to work. We need to get back to work. We need to get back to our patients. A lot of patients are not wanting to be seen by the people that are taking our place, scabs, right? They don't want new therapists. They want us back. They want to be able to, continue their treatment, and so that we can continue to provide them the care that they deserve. Right now, going back to work in the same conditions would not be appropriate, because there would be no change, and then they would be getting the same inadequate care that they're currently receiving. So again, with that said, we want to go back to work. We are in a mental health crisis, and we know how important it is to provide therapy to those that need it.
Do you think Kaiser will do the right thing?
Kaiser has the ability to do the right thing. So, because, I do still have that little hope. I still have a lot of hope in humanity, and I'm hoping that Kaiser will do right by us.
How does it feel to have gone viral and received so much support?
I'm receiving a lot of community love, and that makes me even more hopeful, right, for humanity. I'm surrounded by some great people. Um, Lion, Melissa, Richard, you, right? A lot of my friends, my family have been really supportive. Um, my true activist friends, right? That's Melissa, Richard, Lion. I have no idea where I'd be without you guys. I have so much gratitude, appreciation towards you guys. I mean, I would do anything for you guys because you've showed me a lot of love, a lot of support. Um, you guys know what we all go through, right? In our fight for others, and sometimes it gets to be really depleting. Sometimes it becomes very disheartening. But we all know that we have each other, and we can uplift each other, and we can continue to support each other, and that's what makes this community strong. That's what keeps us united. That's what keeps us fighting. That's what keeps us from continuing everything that we're doing with all our hearts and souls. We want to continue to fight all the injustices.
Is there anything you want to say, talk about that we haven't covered?
Yes, there is one more thing that I do want to highlight, and I want to emphasize how important it is. As I mentioned, my brothers and sisters from who I mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to support one another. We're going to continue to love one another. We're going to continue to fight these injustices. We're going to continue to support each other's movements. We're going to continue to stand and fight side by side. And I'm grateful for what we have. To my strike lines, I want to say that, we're strong, we're united, we're fighting this corporate greed, and we're fighting for the rights of our patients. We're going to continue to be strong. We're going to stay united. Let's fight on. As our National Union of Healthcare Workers and UHW will say, one day longer, one day stronger. Another person that we mustn't forget about is Eden Alex Enamorado, who has stood up to help protect street vendors. He's done great work in protecting those voiceless, right, that I spoke about earlier. And right now he is currently in jail, I would say unjustified, because he's being targeted. Sort of the reason for this is he's a huge advocate for street vendors and has been able to help many. And, people don't want to see him or the street vendors win. So if you can please, please, please donate so that, for attorney fees, and of course, to help provide him with the necessities that he needs while he's in jail. He's going to be having a court this month, so it's important that we also help support him, as I'm sure he would be supporting us if he was out.
You were right about him going viral. I just want to say something as your brother, going on now for almost 2 years. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say, I'm so proud of you, and I think you're doing an amazing job. Good luck to you and the Kaiser Strikers. Thank you, Aida.